Doppelgangers are often seen as evil and sinister due to the belief that witnessing your own doppelganger is an omen of death. These people look, act, sound and dress the same, and it is difficult for family and friends to distinguish the difference between the two. Some believe that a doppelganger may be a ghost or spirit, and there is even some belief that they are a demon manifestation due to some rare accounts where doppelgangers have intentionally hurt people socially or financially, and have been known to repeatedly annoy and aggravate their original. With modern day technology, people are more likely to stumble onto lookalikes and often mistakenly believe they have come across their doppelganger. However, despite the uncanny resemblances, these are often dead ringers and lookalikes that are wrongly assigned the label of doppelganger. One of the most common sightings is when family members and loved ones receive a visit from the doppelganger, only to find that loved one has passed away. In a lot of these cases, the doppelganger visitation takes place during or soon after the original's time of death. There are several ways in which doppelgangers have been seen. The first way is as a reflection in a mirror. One famous case happened in 1860. Soon after becoming President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln and his wife both saw an older and sickly pale version of Abraham Lincoln looking back from the mirror alongside his own reflection. The second face looked much thinner and gaunt, while his own reflection looked normal and healthy. They concluded that this was a warning that he would not live past his second term. This eventually came true when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, not too long after being sworn in for his second term. Another example of witnessing doppelgangers in a mirror comes from an old Halloween custom, where a woman will stand in front of a mirror with 2 lit candles while eating an apple. This technique is said to conjure up the reflection of the woman's future husband. If they are brave enough to venture out to the local cemetery and walk around it 12 times, they will have the chance to interact with the doppelganger. In some cultures, mirrors are covered when somebody dies in an attempt to prevent the doppelganger being seen by the living. In this instance, they are often known as a fetch, and named in reference to them fetching the dead. The second way of seeing a doppelganger can happen unexpectedly and involves somebody coming across one in a general way, such as walking past one or entering a room and finding them sat in your favourite seat. When witnessing your own doppelganger, it is commonly reported that one's own death will soon follow. One such case is that of Catherine the Great. One night she is said to have been awoken by her servants and told that she had been seen entering the throne room. When she investigated, she found a doppelganger sat calmly on the throne. Catherine ordered her guards to fire at the doppelganger. It is unknown what happened to the doppelganger when they fired, but Catherine did die soon after the incident. An incident similar to that of Catherine the Great happened to Queen Elizabeth I. To the Queen's surprise, she found a sickly pale version of herself lay in her bed. This would later be the same bed that Queen Elizabeth I died in after falling ill. In some cases, such as that of Percy Bryce Shelley, other people may also catch sight of the doppelganger. Percy Bryce Shelley was the man who was married to the famous Frankenstein author Mary Shelley. He stated that he had seen his own doppelganger on several occasions. One of Mary Shelley's friends named Jane Williams had also witnessed Percy Bryce Shelley's doppelganger, as he would often walk near her home and then disappear. These occurrences happened when Percy Bryce Shelley was away from the area, confirming that it was not him that they were seeing. He would later drown in a sailing accident in 1812. Another case involving Guy de Maupassant claimed that one of his stories was dictated to him by his doppelganger. He would see this doppelganger on numerous occasions and converse with his double. Sadly, he was committed to a mental institution later in life after an attempted suicide. It's believed his doppelganger may have been an illusion caused by mental illness. Not all doppelganger sightings have led to doom and gloom. The famous writer, poet and politician Johann Wolfgang von Goethe was travelling along a footpath after leaving a lady. In his mind's eye, he saw himself riding past wearing different clothes. He was aware this person was not real and found the incident soothing, and soon forgot about the strange incident. 8 years later, while visiting the same lady, he found himself on the same footpath and realised that he was wearing the same clothes that he had seen his doppelganger wearing 8 years prior. There was another occurrence where he saw a friend wearing his dressing gown. This again strangely happened in what he described as his mind's eye. When he returned home, to his surprise he found his friend was in his house wearing his dressing gown. The reason for this was that he had been caught in a downpour and borrowed the dressing gown while drying off. The third type of sighting involves the doppelganger being witnessed and performing actions that the original will later replicate. One example of this is that of the vardiger, which is often regarded as a good omen rather than the ill omens more commonly associated with doppelgangers. A vardiger is from Scandinavian folklore and involves a form of déjà vu in reverse. The spirit or doppelganger may be seen, heard or smelt in their home or other location minutes or even hours before the original arrives, only to replicate the actions that the witness had already seen their doppelganger perform. This type of sighting is considered to be caused by bilocation. The theory of bilocation involves the doppelganger being seen as an astral projection that takes on physical qualities and is projected by the original. In these situations, doppelgangers have interacted with people, which is often the case in the fourth type of sighting. This type of sighting involves a third party such as a friend witnessing the doppelganger alongside the original. These types of sightings often involve the replica mirroring the actions of the original. In some cases, those actions may have a slight delay and can appear as if it is a replayed recording. One of the strangest cases involving this form of doppelganger is that of Émilie Sagée, who was a 32-year-old teacher at an exclusive girls' school. Her previous experience indicated that she had frequently moved from school to school. Over the span of 16 years, she had worked in 19 different teaching roles, which was considered unusual. The school soon became aware of the phenomena that may have been the cause of her frequent job moves. Sat in class while Émilie Sagée taught the lesson, 13 students watched in awe as Émilie Sagée's doppelganger mirrored all her movements. Despite being completely oblivious to a doppelganger and its actions, there were other instances where people witnessed the doppelganger mimicking her while she ate. During these sightings, Émilie Sagée would become groggy and appear fatigued. The sightings soon became stranger, as the doppelganger would no longer mimic Émilie Sagée. On one occasion, students watched Émilie Sagée through the window as she was gardening while her doppelganger sat in the classroom with them sewing in the corner. Some of the girls approached the apparition and touched her, claiming that it felt like they were running their hands through cobwebs. During some other manifestations, students had walked through the doppelganger and explained that it felt like they had walked through fabric. In a discussion with Émilie Sagée, it was revealed that her doppelganger would be seen doing things that she would be thinking about. Understandably, some of the children were scared by the unnatural phenomena, which led to some children refusing to go to school and in some cases leaving the school to move to other schools. It was at this stage that the school had to step in, and despite Émilie Sagée being a great teacher, she lost her job. Another strange case happened in the 17th century. Missionaries and explorers had arrived to the New World and surprisingly found many tribes in New Mexico were already practicing Catholicism. They claimed that a lady in blue had converted them. After a great deal of investigation, they found a young Spanish nun wearing blue garments, named Maria de Jesus de Agreda. Despite never leaving the convent, she claimed that she had bilocated across the ocean to what she referred to as the Savage Land and taught the Indians about Christianity. At first they believed that she had performed some form of witchcraft, but they settled on it being power of divine origin. She became a bit of a celebrity and even led a convent. Despite writing a couple of books discussing how she acquired her powers, she began to change her story and eventually claimed she was pressured into saying she could perform bilocation and shifted to saying it was true again. Whether true or not, despite the new practices the tribes had acquired, there was one other strange fact. They also used crucifixes and religious items in their practices, which they said had been given to them. This indicates that the doppelganger may not have been an astral presence like in other accounts, but an actual person bearing gifts. Not so much a sighting, but a common theory was believed that some doppelgangers replaced their originals and took over their lifestyles. In order to do this, they would imprison or kill the original. This was believed to happen to children more often, possibly since children are much more vulnerable. If a child's behaviour suddenly changed, it wouldn't be uncommon to consider the child may be a doppelganger of the original. This originates from the Orkney Islands, where fairies known as trolls by the locals were believed to replace babies and children with replicas, which would become sick or die. Thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you with the next video.